ferry has finally arrived. This group of Syrians has been waiting for the boat in Lampedusa for a very long time. Too long. Their destination, a camp in Sicily. These people can apply for refugee status in accordance with European law. It's not an ideal situation for them, but it's better than staying in an overcrowded camp in Lampedusa.
I'm happy. People here are so wonderful. They're truly very good. They've done a great job.
I can't express my feelings in words. They're indescribable. We're so happy God helped us to come here. We were so tired from the trip across the sea and from being in the camp. Now we're much better, and I hope our future will be better still.
This camp is a first help camp, meaning that people should only stay for a maximum of 3 days. In theory, they will then go to the relevant authorities to seek asylum. Or, if they don't have the credentials to apply for refugee status, they should go to a detention centre to be processed and sent back to their country. However, the reality is vastly different. Migrants will stay in Lampedusa for 20 days on average, with some remaining there for 4 to 5 weeks or more. When we arrived last Thursday, a large group of Syrians were on hunger strike against the difficult conditions in the camp.
In front
of the main male-only building is the so-called A2 hall. This former office building's been emptied and adapted to host another 200 people. Of course, the camp is still overcrowded. In recent rainy days, when we had even higher numbers of immigrants, we offered people shelter in our buses and minibuses.
We got access to the family building, which has become more and more crowded since the start of the Syria crisis. We're allowed to enter, but not to film people's faces. According to the director, each room is dedicated to a family group, but they're forced to put people wherever there's space.
Women don't feel comfortable here. But today is much better than yesterday. We felt it was more bearable once some people left. Yesterday, we were all sleeping on the floor without any mattresses or covers. I'm tired as I didn't sleep at all last night.
There's been an influx of pregnant women and women with babies. Some left their countries with their babies, but many others are raped during the journey, which can last more than a year. In the camp, there's no television, and the migrants have little way of knowing what's going on in their countries. But there are some activities for the children. Social workers from Save the Children give Italian and English classes and organise games for them outside the overcrowded camp. They play, they draw. Their drawings show the trauma suffered during their journey.
Looking at the children's pictures, we've seen several drawings of boats and ships in a storm, with lightning and rain. Or also, for example, this drawing, which is very revealing of what the child might be thinking about, representing a ship at sea packed with people.
So far in 2013, the Lampedusa Coast Guards have saved at least 13,000 people, most of whom arrived on tramp steamers. Lampedusa is often the first port of call for Tunisian and Libyan migrants. We jump on one of their 5 search and rescue boats, some of which were financed with the help of the European Union. According to protocol, they must be ready to operate in no more than 30 minutes, but here in Lampedusa they're often much quicker.
We must be ready to leave for a rescue operation in 30 minutes, but our crew's high level of competence mean we often react much faster, usually between 10 and 15 minutes.
4 weeks ago, the Italian government launched a sea operation. They recently asked for financial aid for the operation, which in 1 month has helped to save at least 3,000 people.
This is a military operation because we use military means. But it's also a humanitarian operation because the main objective is to increase safety at sea. This is not a humanitarian corridor. In fact, a humanitarian corridor should start from Tripoli.
This boat cemetery near the new port in Lampedusa provides a constant reminder of death and tragedy. One day they'll probably also add the wreck from the 3rd of October 2013, in which 150 people were saved, but 366 people lost their lives. The first diver to explore the wreck described the horrific scenes.
You're there, helping to pull on these lifeless bodies. 1, 2, 5, 10. At times you stay still in the boat, because you know if you try to move forward, the guys in front of you will say, "Stop, Simone! We have a dead body under the bow." Then instinctively you try to turn back, but another guy at the back of the boat will cry, "Simone, stop! There's a corpse here under the stern." There was a sea of bodies, a sea of bodies. You pull them out and you don't even know how many. You don't even count them at that point. And look, this wreck was at a depth of 50 meters. In general, all wrecks inspire a little fear, right? When you're in the water, wrecks are gloomy. And that one particularly so, because it was lying 50 meters below water in fairly good condition. It looked ready to sail at any moment. The most memorable thing about it was the dots. They looked like black spots among the wreckage of the boat, but then as you approach them in focus, you realize these black dots are in fact dead bodies. And there were many, many, many scattered in around the boat. Corpses, black dots everywhere.
Now the immigrants are trapped on Lampedusa when all they really want to do is leave the island. But EU rules state they can only apply for refugee status in the country through which they first enter the EU.
My destiny will be Norway, because I have friends there. If God will allow me to arrive very well there, maybe they will show me, they will let me to accustom to habit the way, the culture, the situations.
But the 5,000 Lampedusan locals also feel trapped on their island. They feel abandoned by the Italian and EU authorities. This protest banner reads, "We don't feel Italian."
The primary school has been derelict for 3 years. We don't have a decent ship. It comes when it wants to. We don't have any decent aircraft. We pay much more for energy than the mainland Italians and more than anywhere else because we only have a private company here. We suffer water shortages because of the ongoing water emergency. Then what does the government give us to compensate for this? I believe we receive nothing. A few days ago, the son of a friend of mine fell and had to go by helicopter to Palermo for a simple ultrasound. Are you kidding me? For you, CAT scans and MRIs are normal things. You go to the hospital and you do it. But for the same simple procedures, we must pay extra money here. So what will happen as soon as the spotlight shifts from this immigration emergency? Lampedusa will fade into oblivion as usual. I call Lampedusa Neverland, the island that doesn't exist.
Tourism is the main source of revenue for the island because fishing is no longer providing enough money to live. However, residents worry that the immigration emergency could scare tourists away forever.